What is up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Welcome to another fresh take. T, how you doing, man?
Hey there, fools. I'm good. Let's do it.
All right, now first up, we're gonna do a couple things tonight. First things first, we're doing a Logan spoiler field review. We'll give you the customary to the count of 10 to get the hell out if you hadn't seen Logan. And then we're gonna talk about a couple of trailers that we've seen and some stuff that we're looking forward to in March. But right now, we're gonna talk Logan full on spoilers. We're gonna talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, stuff like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You were warned. All right. So, Logan, the last Wolverine movie from Hugh Jackman. I will say this: I am going to miss him. He did a great job, even though he was in some questionable features in the X-Men franchise. But he did do a great job as Wolverine. I do not look forward to the person who has to back him up because he's going to face a hell of a lot of scrutiny. So,
but let's be honest, those questionable features wouldn't have been watchable without him in them. So they were at least made better with him in there.
Yes, because he pretty much dove into the role, and I'm glad that he did. Even though he took on the embodiment of him. And I think he did a very good job, even though he wasn't like because let's be honest, he don't look nothing like the Wolverine's supposed to look.
Yeah,
but he did a great job with it. I applaud him for his work. He did it. He did it for 17 years. So hey, kudos to you.
That's a long time.
Kudos to you.
And he almost didn't do it. Like his significant other almost talked him out of it, and it was like, well, I got to get a paycheck. And so it kind of started with just him being a realist and being like, all right, this may not do well, but I want to make a paycheck for our family. And he thought, he knew nothing about the Uncanny X-Men. He thought it was some here's a little background for you. He thought it was a band. It was a band in Australia called the Uncanny X-Men, and he thought he was playing like a biopic. When they first mentioned it to him, he had no idea. He thought it was going to be a biopic for that band. He was like, "Really? This is a Hollywood movie?" And obviously, it was X-Men comics. So when he got more information on it, so he was a lot of obstacles for him to say yes, and thank God he did, because I don't think X-Men movie would still be a thing without him as Wolverine. So
like I said, he nailed it, and I appreciate him because he has been the best part of the X-Men universe by far, in my opinion. So kudos to you, Hugh Jackman. Hope you do well in your other endeavors. But for the purposes of this review, I'm going to have to tell you that this was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was needed, and it was awesome. I'm so glad that 20th Century Fox did not F with this one like they did with the Wolverine. And everybody knows that I love that movie until the last 15 minutes when they turned it into a Gundam fight. But this movie, they did not touch at all. And I'm glad they didn't. Because it felt like a more personal story.
It was very much, again, this is Hugh Jackman, thanks to him again, a guy who didn't even know what the X-Men were when he was asked to do it. This was a passion project, basically pushed by him, and I don't think it would have happened if it wasn't for the success of Deadpool, obviously, because that was also a passion project pushed by Ryan Reynolds, and because that did so well, the studio obviously greenlit Logan, and thank goodness for that. So
because they weren't going to greenlight it.
No,
they weren't, because Hugh Jackman, well, according to reports, Hugh Jackman was staunch in like it has to be rated R.
Mm-hmm.
He was staunch because look, if you are a fan of the X-Men comics, and I am an X-Men head, I love the comics. That's the comics books that I still collect, and I relate to those more. If you're a fan of those comics, you know how violent a Wolverine, Sabretooth, and X-23 fight gets. You understand the savagery that goes on in those fights.
Right.
In a PG-13 setting, you can't really do that.
Yeah. And he said, like, I watched an interview with him, and he talked about how he didn't say, all right, it's got to be R, but it was definitely going to be R, because he said it had to have these things in it. and that would obviously lead to an R rating. So it wasn't like, oh, it's got to be R for a gimmick purpose. It's got to be R because that's what the story is going to ask for.
Yes, because there's one thing that we've all asked for, and I know you and me both have asked for it on multiple occasions: the Berserker Rage.
Berserker Rage.
It had to be in there.
Yes.
And anytime you put a Berserker Rage in there with humans involved, it's going to be rated R.
Yeah.
Because humans have detachable limbs when razor sharp stuff goes through them.
Right. Right. And you never, I mean, it's been funny. We've been letting it happen. We've watched all these X-Men movies where he wigs out on some dudes and he's carrying people with his claws across the screen, and there's no blood, there's nothing. Yeah. And we've dealt with that, but now we had, full fruition on what actually would happen if adamantium claws were ripping through people. So
yeah. And that's the other thing that you need to know about this. Like the first 5 minutes of this movie sets the tone perfectly because it got off the bat. It got to a point in the movie where, because let me just break this down for you. He's getting carjacked in the opening frames of the movie.
Well, more specifically, he's getting wheeljacked from his car.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And he goes out. He tries to reason with him. These dudes do not. They shoot him.
Yeah, there's not even a conversation. The dude just pulls out, blah.
Okay, at this point, he gets up. At this point, as a gangbanger, I would be like, the devil is a liar. I'm leaving.
I'm out.
Yeah, mutants have existed in this world, even though they're not prevalent in the world that is set up. You know that at one time they existed.
Right.
He gets up. There is a gaping hole closing in his shoulder. Don't you think you might want to leave this dude alone?
It's time to bounce.
No, they want to get hard. So they hit him with a carjack. He falls down. They keep beating on him. All the while, you keep hearing in the background the growling, the low growling.
Yeah. It's like he shot the dude. Why do you think punching him and kicking him is going to be any better?
Yeah. Okay. So then they put a 12 gauge to the back of his head, and the claws come out, and he does one big howl, and you see arms, legs. One dude get his throat ripped out. One dude tries to run. I'm like, no, it's too late now.
No, it's too late to run, bro.
Yeah, he get claws stuck through the back of his head. I'm like, bro, he murders them, and the rage doesn't stop until they're all dead, basically. And then he realizes what he did, and he's like, oh shit, I got to get out of here. And that's the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh man.
And you're sitting there, you're looking at him like, it gets to a point where, because this happens like 6 or 7 more times in the film, and every time it starts the same way. You're like, please stop hitting him. Please stop hitting him. Please stop hitting him. He got so bad to a point where I felt bad for other people. I'm like, dude, y'all finna die.
Yeah. This is
y'all
not working out.
Y'all messed with the wrong one. And they, for the most part, did.
Yeah.
And going forward, because the movie takes a very somber, I would say, Unforgiven kind of tone to it.
Yeah,
I would say, in its storytelling and execution, is very much that, because in the story, Wolverine's healing factor, age has finally caught up with him, and at this point in his life, it's failing him, but it's not failing him because he's old. It's failing him because he was the only person to survive a full adamantium transfer coating of adamantium on his bone structure.
Right.
Adamantium is poisonous to the human body. The only reason why he didn't go completely feral or completely, deformed is because his healing factor. He's
always healing from this poison in his body.
Yes.
And eventually, over time, because he does get older. Yeah. He just ages a lot slower than everybody, obviously, because of his healing. Eventually, over time, that healing factor isn't going to be as quick. It's not going to be as fast, and he's going to lose his ability to keep, healing and stuff. So,
and it finally caught up to him in this story, because, like, in the story, at first they don't really tell you. You just think like, okay, maybe something weird happened. But there's a couple of points where he's shown coughing, and he's coughing into this towel, but you don't see any blood. You just see gray. That's the adamantium.
The adamantium, yeah.
So the adamantium is basically killing them. The thing about it was the reason why they never put all of it in Sabretooth and stuff like that because they didn't know if he was going to survive it. Because Wolverine honestly shouldn't have survived it.
Right.
He literally should not have survived it. So they meet with, of course, they meet up with X-23, and I got to give it to Daphne King. She did a great job because this little girl has to spend the majority of the movie not saying anything and carrying the film basically through her looks and actions and emotions. Basically, she doesn't really talk until damn near the end of the movie.
Yep.
At all, period. But she does a great job as Laura X-23. She just does a phenomenal job. I really have to give it to her for that.
It's so subtle, like her, and for her to be at her age, that good of a subtle actress is pretty darn amazing. So,
yeah, it works. It actually works to the film's benefit. When she comes in. Now they do have Xavier in the film, and here's the part, because they don't outright say it, but like in the Old Man Logan comic, the mutants are dead not because of anything that Xavier did, is because Wolverine. Now this is from the comic. Wolverine is shown an illusion by Mysterio, and he pretty much goes on a berserker rage and kills all the X-Men. He also kills Mysterio because Mysterio's dumb behind, didn't realize he needed to be near him for the illusion to keep effect. He stays near him, and in the middle of the berserker rage, he gets gutted too. So, he's the reason why the X-Men are dead. Now, for purposes of the movie, of course, they didn't do this. But it's hinted at in the movie that the combination of the chemicals in food and drinks is what made people with abilities sterile, and the government knew this. The problem was they didn't think it was going to make it. They was trying to control the mutant population.
Yeah,
it pretty much got rid of the mutant population because no new mutant babies were being born. So now the American government is like, crap, we ain't got no weapons. So they're trying to bring back the Weapon X program, and therein lies the children that are seen in the movie. They were products of the Weapon X program via DNA manipulation, because they still had Wolverine's blood and other mutants' blood on file. So they were able to actually grant these embryos abilities. X-3 is Wolverine's DNA and blood used to create her. So, and the dummies actually put adamantium claws in it. Freaking idiots. Why would you do that? You couldn't control him, and you're going to basically put him back. Sometimes,
but how many mistakes you got to make before you realize that it's not going to work? It's not going to happen for you.
Like, this is not going to end the way you think.
No.
So, and also going in with Xavier in there. Xavier is now in his 90s, and he has dementia. Me and you talked about this before when we were doing our trailer review. We were like, imagine a person who was connected to every mind on the planet with dementia.
Yeah, it's not going to end well.
What happened?
It's not going to end well for every mind on the planet.
Yeah, they showed what happened in a city.
Yeah,
in one city in the movie, and I'm glad they did this in the movie. They showed what would happen if he has an episode. Now, of course, in the way they showed it in the movie, I think he did it on purpose to save himself and Laura.
Yeah,
but it's hinted at in the movie that he's the reason why the X-Men are dead.
Yeah, it happened at too perfect of a time, when they were about to be, basically slaughtered and then the girl taken away. So I'm sure that episode was on purpose.
Yeah. And the whole thing about the X-Men being gone, because they make references that the X-Men are no more, and it's must have been the first time he had a seizure.
Yeah, and then because of, again, he knew Logan had a chance to save him, because again, he knows about Logan's regenerative ability. That's the only reason he's the only one that can deal with that kind of psychic event, because he has those regenerating abilities. So he's the one guy that can fight. Even still, he can't just run through it like it doesn't bother him. It does bother him, but he can still do stuff. So
he can withstand it for way longer amounts of time, and they were able to show that via Caliban, who's in the movie. He couldn't last 10 seconds.
He couldn't deal at all.
Yeah, but Logan was able to last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and they showed it again in the movie when he was saving himself and X-23 in Oklahoma City, he put down a whole city, and then people were no more good.
Yep.
Like even the villains, they were like, "Damn." So they were able to get away because of that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is the one thing. It's a minor thing that bothered me about Xavier having dementia. I just felt like his mind is too powerful to succumb to something like that. And so that's the one thing that kind of took me out a little bit. But I just said, all right, I'm gonna accept this and go with the story for this. But I felt like his mind is too powerful to have Alzheimer's at some point. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing that bothered me a little bit. But that was it.
I agree with that because of the simple fact that, like, we know Xavier is what they call an Omega class mutant, which basically means Omega class mutants. There aren't a lot of them in the X-Men lore, but Omega class mutants are mutants that can take out a planet.
Yeah.
It's him, Magneto, Storm, Sienna Blaze, and Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 that I know of from reading comics. And the reason why Storm is in there, because if Storm ever loses control, this is a little background on Storm, just so y'all know exactly how powerful she is. If she ever loses control, the whole Earth will go crazy.
It's fucked.
Because she has to maintain complete control at all times because she is that in tune with the weather. And I don't know if you noticed, but if the polar ice caps ever like have a heat wave,
we're done.
Yeah.
That's a catastrophic event. We're done.
Yeah. So that's what makes her an Omega level mutant, because she can actually control that from anywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
So that's just to give you a taste of what an Omega level mutant can do. And Xavier, it's because even without Cerebro, he's tapped into every brain on the planet. So if he does have an episode, like if he has a seizure or something happens that's not, that's an uncontrolled event, he could possibly take out every mind on the planet.
Everybody gonna feel that in some way.
Yeah, everybody. So that's how powerful these people are, the Omega class mutants. So,
like I said, I went with it because that's what the story was. There was actually one other thing that bothered me as well, and it was just another small thing. Again, I went with the story, on it too. But we can talk about that later because it has to do with some other stuff later.
Yeah, because there's 2 gaping things that I had a problem with, but the other thing, and I want to say one of the last things that I did like how it ended. There were some people who complained about the ending. Me personally, I thought it was perfect, a perfect ending.
Yeah, I like that. It was no bullshit. It wasn't some Eden, and it wasn't like some happy ending.
It was a realistic ending.
Realistic, yes.
And for the people that saying that people shouldn't have died, yes, those people had to die in the movie. If these people do not die in the movie, you don't feel it.
Right.
And that goes with Buddy from Coming to America, Eric LaSalle and his family. I hate that they died, but
it hurt. That hurt.
The thing was,
it's real. That's what
you knew it was coming.
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. The minute I saw them, it was like, "Oh, come stay with us," and you guys are dead.
and Logan was trying to tell, look, thank you, but no thank you. He was trying to tell them that.
Yeah.
But
what sadder moment?
He was like, fine, it's just for one night. And when you think about it, with him and 23 there, they could have protected the whole house anyway.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
And that's why
the saddest part of that death the death of that family is Eric LaSalle coming back to basically shoot Logan for causing this all to happen. And that was just so flippin' sad to me. That was sadder than watching people getting slashed down and getting killed. The fact that, oh man, we were friends. I brought you into my house and it had my whole family basically killed because of your presence. And I'm coming to shoot you for that. And, knowing that it wouldn't do anything, it was just, that was just super sad. That was just super sad to me.
It was sad, but it did the one thing that those Bryan Singer movies never did. It showed the prejudice against mutants.
Yeah.
The reason why I have such a big issue with Bryan Singer's X-Men movies, they don't show this.
Yeah.
They don't show that.
It's all delivered in, what do you call it? In dialogue, it's all delivered in exposition.
But they don't
never really see it. You know?
And the thing that made that scene beautiful to me was the fact that, you know what, even though you can be one of the X-Men, save the damn world, people, if something happens, people still get mad at you just because you are a mutant.
There's people waiting for you to fall. You know?
Yeah. So,
you know?
Yeah. And that scene was powerful for the simple fact that Logan gets back. He tries. Yeah. Logan damn near tries.
He tried.
But it was too late, and he knew.
But he ran into the T-1000.
Yeah.
So he did what he could, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved the fact that they went there, and
that was a surprise.
Yeah, but I saw it, but you had to see it coming.
I didn't see it coming. I guess I was too following, you know, the story and what was going on and I just didn't catch it.
Yeah, I saw it because when I saw it, I'm like, oh no, they're not going to. Yeah, they are.
Yep.
So yeah, and that leads into now that I don't praise the movie enough. Let's talk about some stuff we didn't like, and I'll let you start off.
Well, I guess my one big thing was the adamantium bullet.
Oh God, I hated that.
You know, like it had been established that it could pierce adamantium and you know, cause brain damage or something, but cause you to die and again in a T-1000 kind of. I'm telling you, man, there was some Terminator 2 love in this movie for sure. Yeah. You know, I'm the newer, improved model. You're, you know, the old, beat up model, and so you know, of course, they clash, and you know that happened. But yeah, the adamantium thing bothered me for sure. Adamantium bullet thing bothered me for sure. So
the fact that the only thing that an adamantium bullet works on is Hulk, because that's the only thing that can pierce his skin, and they keep trying to use it for Wolverine.
No,
adamantium doesn't break adamantium.
No, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Now, if they would have said vibranium or carbonadium, okay, I'd go with it. But you said adamantium. Read a damn book. That being said, that's the only thing.
Yeah, that was my only main gripe, if you will. I really enjoyed pretty much everything. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, but you go ahead. Maybe I'll remember.
Okay. Well, here's my main thought. That was another one with the adamantium bullet. But my main thing, Wolverine has an extensive rogues gallery of people that want him dead. Mm-hmm. You did not have to use what they did for X-24, because what they did for X-24 was basically have Hugh Jackman with no hair.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. I mean, Wolverine's gallery, they could have had Omega Red in there for all I care. Mm-hmm. Or Cyber. There were so many people they could have pulled. Or here's a thought: how about you actually do Lady Deathstrike, since she was actually the leader of the Reavers? Mm-hmm. Just blew your mind. But yeah, they could have had. There was a list of villains they could have used, and to have the main action villain be X-24, and not even have it be the real X-24 from the comics, which was Kimura, and have it be like Hugh Jackman T-1000.
Yeah, T-1000.
I was like, dude, please, like, James Mangold, you are awesome. I love your direction, but dude, you got to stop doing me like this.
Yeah, I think my guess is that they wanted this movie to be pretty contained within itself, and it would help to have seen some of the other movies and stuff. But you don't have to. You didn't have to see any of the other ones to enjoy this movie, and I think bringing in somebody like that, you had to have a little bit of backstory to explain who that person is. Even Lady Deathstrike, you know, we had her in, what was that, X2?
X2, yeah. But that wasn't that.
But it wasn't, you know, the Lady Deathstrike. Yeah. So it was just like, why bring that back? You know, why remind people that, oh yeah, Lady Deathstrike from X2? No, not really that one. And you would have had to explain her a little bit. So I understand why they went that route. And obviously, it was just cheaper to cast Hugh Jackman in another role. So I get it.
I just didn't like it, and of course, I didn't like the adamantium bullet thing. The problem was the only thing that makes that work is the fact that they already established earlier in the movie that he had to have a injection to heal.
Yeah,
which was good. And the other thing is he didn't have adamantium all through his body, so shoot him in the head did work.
Yeah.
That did work, because the other thing that I kind of didn't like, but I kind of did like, was the head Reaver Donald Pierce. I like Boyd Holbrook in the movie, but at the same time, I thought he wasn't menacing enough.
I was just like, this dude is kind of weak sauce.
Yeah, and here's the thing: he's like the racist, but he still loves he's that racist that he hates black people, but he still loves LeBron and Steph Curry.
Right, the worst kind of racist.
Yeah, that's him in the movie. He hates mutants, but he loves Wolverine.
Right.
He's a big fan. Because there's a couple times he straight fanboyed out.
Yeah, he did.
And you're like, but you hate mutants.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
You're not explaining his character good enough. You're not putting him in a good enough light here to explain.
I didn't find him menacing. I just didn't.
No. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. See, I just forgot about him so much that that I just forgot that I didn't like him. So,
I mean,
he's very forgettable.
Did he work for what he was supposed to? Yeah, kind of.
But he worked.
But it's still one of those situations where you're like, dude, you're not menacing enough. And personally, I don't care. I'm just wanting somebody to hack you up. But how he goes out is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think it was a situation again. Me thinking as a filmmaker here, I think it was a situation where they were in their heads a little bit too much. They were like, "Well, we don't want to do the typical menacing bad guy, have a big fight at the end type of deal." And I think because of that, they just said we're gonna have some regular guy who has an augmented arm, and is kind of a dick, and that's it. That'll be good enough for the story we're trying to tell. So maybe that's what happened, and once you edit it together, it doesn't pan out the way you were hoping. And it's like too late at that point, so that's what I'm thinking.
In a way it worked. I just didn't like the character. So I like the Reavers, but here's my last big thing that I hated. Here's my problem. Here's the problem the same problem I had with John Wick 2. I am tired of henchmen are us. Like, I understand having people there that, so you can show how badass a couple
cannon fodder.
I don't mind having, because like that first sequence with X-23 berserks out, she winks out, and that's in the trailer, but you don't see how long that thing goes on.
Oh boy, yeah.
But that part, okay, fine, all right, fine. I know y'all trying to showcase her, but there's a few more scenes where it's just like, okay, dude, there's no way in hell if I'm a merc. If I'm a merc and I walk into this situation and I know that's the legendary Wolverine and I see this little girl just hack up 80 people, I'm not finna sit up with my little pea shooter.
Not happening. I'm turning around. I'm going the other way.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck y'all and y'all money. I don't care. You got an adamantium resistant suit. Shut up.
What can I do that the other 20 guys in front of me who are laying in pieces didn't do? What can I do? And I'm done. Like,
that's not realistic.
That's not real. That's the stuff that does. Again, that's the kind of stuff that takes you out of the story, and definitely for sure.
Especially when you say they're mercenaries, because to me,
they're mercenaries.
Fight smarter than that.
Yeah, I'm fighting for money. I don't. If I'm dead, I can't make any money. I'm out.
Yeah. So there would have been a point where let me fight smart. Like, they wouldn't have just kept rushing.
Yeah,
to get killed. I mean,
cannon fodder. Like I said, you're just fodder for
for adamantium in this situation.
Right, for adamantium.
But
it didn't make sense.
Yeah, it kind of hurt the film. Not the film, but it's one of those things that annoys
the sequence. Me. It hurt the sequence.
Yeah, it hurt the sequence because I'm like, okay, I can understand, because like the Reavers in the comics, it ain't but like 7 or 8 Reavers. It's not a whole cadre of villains. It's just 7 of them, really. So to me, they should have had the main 7, and they should have been the badasses. Like that first, like I said, the first sequence with X-23, I know why that's in there. That's there to show you don't run up on this girl.
Yeah, and just even some simple convincing, like, to the lesser guys. Like, these guys are like, oh my god, everybody's getting murked. I'm out of here. It's like, you better get your ass back in there. That kind of deal. But a simple thing like that would have been all right. I'll accept that, because at least somebody is pushing them to go get themselves killed. But it was just like no reason to run into the fire. It just
after you see a couple of decapitations.
Exactly. Like, I'm out.
You just saw your boy in front of you get his throat ripped out, and his intestines are on the ground.
Yeah, it's like, you better go back in there, or I'll do that to your family, or something like that, to make it feel like, all right, there's a reason these guys are, putting their lives on the line like this. Because
I'm being honest. There's no way in hell, and there's no way in hell a real merc would just keep running into that. They would more than likely fight smart.
Yeah.
After seeing that, they would probably get smart. They wouldn't fight.
Just keep running at her like morons. Like,
Yeah. Now I will say this: like the mutant kids that they had at the end, they showed you why mutants are supposed to be feared.
Yeah.
Because each one of them kids so different applications of their power. Now, here's the problem that I had. Here's the other problem that I had.
And I love the fact that they looked like regular kids. Yeah. You know, just like regular looking kids. They weren't like, oh, they didn't just come out an hour in makeup. Yeah. You know, from the trailer, makeup trailer. Yeah, little black kid especially. Yeah.
The little black kid, because
he looked like some kid I saw running down the street the other day. So
yeah, because like there's a sequence where they're all getting chased, and he's like getting up,
bucking. Like what? Like he's not the proportion that you would think to be able to run that fast, and he is getting up. I'm like, dang.
Like this dude, like, oh, you gonna have to win this track meet.
Like, I'm looking at it like, is this CG? There's no way.
Like no,
no, that was that kid running. I was like, damn.
I'm like, okay, dude, that was. That was funny, but then you see how his ability works, and I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. Y'all had all these kids in the Weapon X program, and you didn't think they could kill you,
right?
After you trained them like that.
You guys are the dumbest scientists of all time.
Yeah, because the main director is the actual son of the director from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah,
the other doctor, the one that actually created the adamantium bullet, is his son, Xander Rice. He's the guy that recreated it. But I'm like, even them, they put Wolverine under.
Right, but here's the thing, like, right? These guys are scientists, and they've shown in the past that they have like elixirs and serums that can at least weaken the X-Men or mutants for a time. And why didn't they have this stuff bulletized? Or you know, like what is going on? You just like, make these animals, these crazy animals, and have no way to like control them.
Yeah, and the sad thing about it is like when the kids realize that, oh, we got a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Oh, they turn on them, and it is. Oh my gosh, it is glorious. Because I'm like, yes, kill them all.
Yes, slaughter them all.
Yeah. At that point, you like, because by the end they've shown you what the torture they went through.
Torture these kids, man.
And I'm like, you know what? Kill every last one of them, and that's pretty much what they did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
yeah. Like this movie's rated R for a damn reason.
Oh boy.
So
it deserves its R rating. It's barely an R. It's reaching like NC-17 at some of this stuff. Like when Wolverine is plunging his adamantium claws to people's faces, and you see it come out the other end. Like, this is some rough stuff. I turned a couple of times. I ain't gonna lie. It was that brutal.
Where he ripped the dude's guts out?
Yes, buddy. Yeah, and he went through the dude's chin, and it came out of his eye and his head. Like, yo.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough to watch.
Like, but it was
real. It was raw.
I kept telling people, I'm like, dude, you do not understand how Berserker Rage works. And if you ever saw it on film, you would understand why I got mad at X-Men Days of Future Past. I'm glad I was validated in this movie.
Yeah, we finally got it. We got the real visceralness and rawness of what adamantium claws can do to human flesh.
Yeah, and that's why I kept telling people, I'm like, they had the perfect excuse in Days of Future Past and didn't use it. Because that's how they got away with it in the comics and even in the animated show.
Well, they wanted to keep that PG rating, man. They didn't want to lose this big audience they're missing out on if they go R.
And that's the thing, though. I'm like, you had Sentinels. Yeah. Let him go berserk. You didn't want to do it. This is what Berserk looks like. So when you watch this and you're like sick to your stomach and you're looking away, this is what Berserk looks like. This is what you were saying, you were claiming you were asking for, but you didn't ask for.
Bryan Singer's a damn troll. That's just plain and simple. The dude's a troll. People have been arguing with them for years about the X-Men. I'm sure. Like, we got that BS, in Days of Future Past, and then he plays around again at the end of Apocalypse, right? Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, here's some Sentinels, guys. Oh, go to black." And it's just like you just being an ass at that point. Like you just So
honestly, I'm gonna say this in closing on the whole Logan thing. I honestly think the X-Men franchise needs to be rebooted, and I would love to see James Mangold take it over. Screw Bryan Singer.
Yeah, Bryan Singer. I'm done with Bryan Singer and X-Men.
I'm sorry. I know some of y'all that's probably listening to this love Bryan Singer, but honestly, he does everything he says he's not going to do.
Yeah.
He says that he doesn't throw characters in. X-Men Apocalypse showed that that's all he does.
He threw so many characters in that just they were just there.
They were just there. My main pissed off at this, Jubilee, because he went into an explanation how she's in the movie, but she don't do nothing. She's only on screen for like 5 minutes.
She did a damn thing. You might as well have left her out. You just trying to piss people off at that point. Like
at that point. So honestly, like I said, I love what James Mangold did with the Wolverine and with Logan. I would love to see him do more. I think the X-Men franchise as a whole needs to be rebooted. That's just me.
Yeah, it's reboot time.
Yeah, just reboot the whole thing. Whole new cast, because you got to recast Wolverine anyway.
Yeah.
So just recast.
Well, I mean, they can keep who they have. I'm sorry, it's time for Jennifer. What's her name to go?
Jennifer Lawrence
she just need to go. I'm sorry.
She didn't want to do She didn't want to do Apocalypse.
She didn't want to do it anyway. So it's time for her to go. She ain't leading no damn X-Men team. Get the hell out of here with that.
Yeah.
Just get out of here with that. So
yeah. Mystique needs to be what Mystique is, a spy.
I liked Storm. I like who they got her cast as her. Mm-hmm. They just need to be fleshed out. I have no problem with Cyclops. He actually more Cyclops to me than we've had thus far, because he had that leadership ability that you haven't seen in any of the other Cyclops iterations on screen. So I at least felt like he was more Cyclops than your boy. So yeah, I mean, you can keep these newer guys, but obviously get rid of Jennifer Lawrence, like we said.
and please put Simon Kinberg on the leash, because he wants to do Dark Phoenix and he don't even want to do
no Dark Phoenix. It's too early for that. You just reintroduced Jean Grey.
And but that's what he wants to do. So I'm done with that guy.
Yeah.
So
get out of here.
Yeah. So personally, like I said, it's an awesome movie. Great cap off for Hugh Jackman's career as Wolverine. Like I said, I'm gonna miss him, but I think this was a proper send off for him and his character.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
Reboot this thing and get some people in who actually respect the comics, in my opinion.
Yes.
So, anything else you want to add on that, T?
No, I mean, thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I want to go see it again to see the parts that I turned my head from, and so I can watch the entire movie this time. And yeah, really enjoyed this time. So
yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all, dude. You can't fault anybody for turning their head, because there are a couple times you see it coming and you're like,
I'm a grown ass man. I've seen it all. I grew up on like the worst horror of all times, the goriest horrors on 80s and whatnot. So I've seen it all, and to make it turn my head as a grown ass man who's seen it all, it tells you a lot, I think. So,
like I said, they did a good job with practical effects on this movie.
Oh yeah,
let's just say that. So. That being said, so like I said, Logan, loved it. If you haven't had a chance to go see it, please go see it. Do not take your kids to go see this, or you will be nursing nightmares.
No,
you will be nursing nightmares.
She's like, well, we're gonna go see movies, and like, you can take the kids off to see, Logan. I'm like, no, this is not that kind of superhero movie.
No,
you cannot go see that. Well, he's seen violent stuff. No, not this.
No. There was some parents and there were their kids in my theater. They left. Yeah. One woman, she just couldn't even watch it no more. Like, she left the kid in there. She just couldn't. Yeah. She couldn't take it.
Those people, like, oh my God, it was horrible. Without understanding the context and watching the whole movie. It's like, oh.
Yeah. So I know some of y'all think that your children are mature. Mm-hmm. Don't lie to yourself.
No, they're not mature enough for this. This is too much.
Yeah, just please don't lie to yourself. But I will say this. Ryan Reynolds, you are a fool. That Deadpool short.
Yes.
You are a fool. So,
Ryan Reynolds
was hilarious and wrong all at the same time. And yes, he threw another shot at freaking Warner Bros.
Oh my goodness.
So that being said, I mean, if you are going to watch the movie, make sure you get there early on time, because there is a Deadpool short on the beginning. You probably seen it on YouTube, because Ryan Reynolds actually released it on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, he released it. So
you probably already seen it, but I have to talk about it because of the simple fact that I thought the movie was starting, and then I'm like, why is I thought Ryan Reynolds wasn't in this movie, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what this is.
You did it.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you haven't had a chance, just make sure you get there. It's funny. It'll make you laugh. So Wonder Woman. All right, Wonder Woman had her third trailer. I think it was.
Yeah, this is the third one.
Yeah, they called it the origin trailer. And see, I'm gonna let you go with this one because you are my DC aficionado.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna let you start with this one.
Well, it incorporated some stuff from the previous trailers, trailer 2, mostly. You got some origin stuff, and honestly, I wish they would not have released that stuff in the trailer, or it just felt a little disjointed to me. To be in the third trailer, like you would think that would be in the first-ish trailer, teaser, whatnot, about Diana, Princess Diana, how basically she came to be and her mother and the training and all that stuff. Like I like trailer 2 the best, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I like this trailer because it had a lot of elements from trailer 2 in it, but I don't know, it just didn't work for me as much. Being the last trailer, probably the last trailer, right?
Yeah, because it comes out in June. I don't know why they released it this early.
Maybe there'll be another one. I'm thinking there'll probably be another one, but it seems a little disjointed for me. And I'm the DC fanboy, so what did you think? I wanted to know what you thought about it. For sure.
Well, see, here's my problem with I like what I'm seeing from Wonder Woman, but I got a bad feeling I'm seeing too much. And you're right. They should have did this in the first trailer.
Yeah,
this shouldn't have been the third trailer.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a little bit too much of scenes from the movie. I feel because I'm not. I want this movie to work. I really think this movie needs to work.
I need this movie to work.
Here's the thing that people don't understand. Hollywood only understands money. So this movie needs to do well so we can get other, female solo superhero movies. So they won't do it if it doesn't sell.
Right.
So we kind of need this to work. And I'm just hoping. I keep hearing mixed things from people who have seen the rough cut and things of that nature. With some people saying they like it, some people saying it's disjointed. At this point, I don't know what to go with. I'm still going to watch this, and my expectations aren't high, but they aren't like through the roof, but they're high because I want this to do well, and I know the Wonder Woman character, and I'm hoping that because I like what I saw with her in regards to her in Batman vs Superman. So I'm hoping that they get rid of this freaking dark crap and actually show some. Because one of the things that I did like about the trailer is that they actually started showing color, and just making it colorful actually did wonders for me.
Right.
I know it was a small thing.
I think that you're talking about, it needs some life. That's the thing I think that was disjointed. I didn't touch on it. Was the fact that they had all this kind of, and it wasn't dark or anything, it was just like dramatic storytelling stuff in the trailer in the beginning. And then they tried to end it up with a little joke at the end. It was just
that was odd.
That was just off. That was just way off.
Yeah, that was, I don't know who put that.
That worked fine in the last trailer because it was kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
But this trailer was like, origin stuff and teaching you about, what she's going through and her struggle and whatnot. And then to end it with that modern day, modern as far as the movie goes, part where it's just like, oh, the sword doesn't work. That's just it didn't work.
Understand that.
It didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know.
That felt like studio stuff. It's like, oh, we got to touch base with everybody.
Yeah, you don't really have to.
Yeah, not in the trailer.
Yeah, first of all, your movie don't come out till June.
Right.
You don't have to do that right now. And that's the thing. That's the thing that has me worried, because when people start saying it's disjointed, and then you see something like this, that kind of confirms it, don't it?
Yeah. And the trailer, if the trailer is disjointed, that really worries me, because the trailer is the easiest thing to do. Hit them bullet points, boom, 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 and get out. You don't have to. There should be no disjointedness in the trailer, and that worries me that they can't even cut the trailer right.
Yeah, because you have a singular focus for the trailer. Right. Well, your trailer should have a singular focus. Show what you want to show, and then
and get out.
Get out. I mean, because you only got depending, it's usually 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Usually. So I don't think anybody does 3 and 4 minute trailers anymore.
Yeah, unless you're stupid, you don't want to go that far with a trailer. 2 minutes is boom. You want to be done by the 2 minute mark, and it felt like everything after the 2 minute mark was just jointed as hell.
Yeah. So once again, I'm looking forward to it. I understand why they went World War One. I can understand that.
Oh, I can rock with that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, but what I don't what I'm worried about is these claims of if it being disjointed, and I just hope that the movie, like Suicide, because to me Suicide Squad had a lot of personality to it, and I'm just hoping that this one does too.
Yeah,
honestly,
like that's what saved Suicide Squad was the fact that it had all that personality, and different characters and stuff. Because the disjointed stuff in that bothered me, but if it wasn't for the personality of Will Smith and Margot Robbie, hell, even what's his name? I can't remember what's his name. The Australian dude that played Boomerang.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, even he was good. He's good in nothing. Yeah, If it can make him good, that definitely saved the movie for me. So.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. Look, like I said, but I've said this on multiple occasions. I want DC Comics movies to do well, and I'm still gonna stand by that. So here's hoping. I'm hoping Wonder Woman starts the trend of going upward. So hey, like I said, I want a Static Shock movie. So and a Teen Titans movie, and the only way I'm gonna get it is if their movies do well. So
yeah. See, I'm worried. I feel like people blame
BVS.
No, well, yeah, BVS, but the director, what's his name?
Zack
Snyder. Yeah. I think he gets a lot of blame for stuff that it really isn't his fault, because we all know that he's more of a visual director than a storyteller.
Yeah,
that's just nobody.
If you don't know that by now, something's wrong with you,
right? But I think because of the success of Man of Steel and BVS to a certain degree, that he's being forced out there. I'm not sure he even wants to be the guy, that basically molds this universe. I just think that Warner Brothers is like, all right, success. Let's keep pushing him out there as the director who steers this ship. And I don't even know if that's what he wants to do. Like, at this point, like,
yeah.
That's what worries me, is the fact that, well, he has this certain style and he doesn't have a lot of substance to his storytelling. And now that Nolan is completely gone, Christopher Nolan, I'm quite worried. I like what I've seen from the trailers, at least, of Justice League and Wonder Woman even too. He doesn't direct this, but it has to kind of adhere to the world he's built, and it could be the good thing about the World War I setting and this being Wonder Woman's story is that it can be completely removed for the most part from the universe, so it has a chance of not being, bogged down by the darkness, if you will, of those movies. And I, as a director, a film director myself, a filmmaker, I'm sitting back like, man, if it was me in control of this, there would be immensely better movies, especially with my DC knowledge and fanboyness, and the fact that I feel like I could steer this ship a lot better, and not having to do a whole lot of jerry rigging and screwing with what has been done already. But I feel like they just won't go there. I think they're too afraid to change, and I think they're too afraid to try new things, because what they've done, despite the critical, if you will, basically, half or love it, half don't like it kind of deal. Yeah. Despite that, they feel, oh, we're still making money, so we don't want to mess with that too much, and we don't want bad critique and bad, returns.
Yeah.
So
the good thing about it is people are still going to see them.
Yes, that's the one, but that's also a good and bad thing. Like I just said, is it's like, all right, are they won't fix the stuff that even the guys who like the movies, like me, I would like stuff fixed, and they won't fix them because they're like, oh, the guys are still coming to see them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to not want to go see them, so it's going to take other people not going to see it for them to change that stuff. So,
and then that's the sad part about that. I mean,
we're in a rock and a hard place here.
Yeah, but I think the main thing that DC is lacking is just a lack of focus. I don't think it's very reactionary.
What's his name is not running the show. Jeff Johns. He's not.
Yeah, he's not. There's no way.
Not who's on the Marvel side. Kevin Feige. He's not the Feige of the DC stuff. Don't let that get in your head. The studio guys, the round table is still running this shit.
Yeah,
and they're basically using Snyder as their vessel, and even he. Maybe for good or worse, for bad, he's not able to do all the things he wants to do. Even because the more I watch, because I watched Batman vs Superman a lot, and the more I watch it and see the whack ass way they rolled out the other metahumans on that email account, that email that is bothering me every time I watch it more and more. It just seems really stupid, and it's just like, I understand more what people's critique of that the more I watch it, and it's just like it could have been done way better.
It should have been done way better.
Yeah, even in that movie that was filled to the T with a lot of exposition and story. Even within that movie, they could have thrown that out there better. To not have these big graphics, of the different. Come on, LexCorp sat down and had some guy make a graphic for Flash, make a graphic for Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Aquaman, and they all kind of look alike. It's all kind of similar graphic tone. It could have been done way better.
Here's the thing that made me laugh about it, because here when I think about it, it's so they went to Tom at LexCorp. Hey Tom, we need you to work on some graphics for
we need you to pull out Photoshop and Illustrator.
He's thinking he's about to work on some logos for the company. Nah, we need you to figure out logos for these people. What?
Yeah, that scene that just looked very corporate. Okay, here's the logos, guys, for the we're gonna throw these at you. We had a test audience view this stuff first, and they like the logos. So come on.
So LexCorp owns the logo rights for
right. LexCorp owns the logo rights for all the metahumans in the DC universe. Great, awesome.
Okay,
so you guys, a suit. Every time you put that suit on, you got to pay LexCorp a certain amount of money.
25 cents every time you save somebody. What?
It's just kind of ridiculous. But
per person, every time you save somebody, 25 cents.
There was the Flash thing. Even the Flash thing, they have to adhere to that now.
Yeah,
they made basically Lois Lane some big important part of this universe, and it's just she's just kind of around, needing to be saved every 5 minutes, and you're gonna make her a big important part, basically, to the story, which to me, no, that doesn't work for me. But so my hopes, just like yours, are riding on this being a really good side story that ties into the universe and hopefully turns the universe to a different direction.
Yeah,
in some aspect. So again, we hope.
Here's hoping.
We were hoping for Suicide Squad to do that, but not quite.
Yeah,
not quite. There were some elements of this universe has gotten bigger, obviously, and there's some fun in there, and that definitely did happen with Suicide Squad. But we need more.
Yeah, we need to keep that going. I mean, whether you love Marvel or hate them, you cannot deny that they're telling a singular focused story, and their movies are fun to watch.
Yeah. You don't need punchline. That's the one thing I don't like about Marvel movies is the punchline. You don't have to have those to make it fun.
Yeah,
you can still have a fun story, but an engrossing fun story.
Yeah. But at least you could go in the movies knowing that that the movie is more than likely going to have fun elements in it. You're going to have a good time in there.
Yeah,
it's not all. Dour.
Yeah, even the Senate, was it the Senate building and the explosion in Batman vs Superman? That didn't have to be that raw. It could have been an explosion that took out half of that room. Yeah, and he got the people who he wanted to get, but
don't have him save everybody. Just have him save a few people,
and have Superman standing there in the explosion with that look on his face. It's just that's the kind of stuff that is unnecessary to me.
Matter of fact, and I hate to have to say this, but I think like how they did it in Civil War actually worked with Panther, and that explosion. It didn't take out the whole building.
No, it didn't take out the whole damn
It
building.
took out that floor.
Yeah,
or that side. That
at least that part. Yeah, that room and that side of the floor.
Yeah, but and to me, I'm like, that's how you do it. But you, like you said, they had Superman just standing there, and then he opens his eyes and looks
standing
at
there like standing there like George Bush when they told him we're under attack.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like,
no,
dude,
go do
freeze breath. Man. I'm like, dude, use freeze breath, blow this out.
Yeah, because if you remember watching it, he knew something was about to happen.
Yeah,
right before it happened. And he's not slow.
No, he's not.
He's faster than a speeding bullet. The only person that's faster than him is Flash. Like, so he could quickly lose some freeze breath over that direction. He knew where it was going to come from.
Yeah, because he knew something was off.
Yeah, and that would have been pretty cool. Even like if he had done that, and obviously some people would have died from his freeze breath. And that could have been an element of, oh my God, he killed people, but he was trying to save.
Yeah,
and he did
save y'all.
Yeah, and he, in the act of saving people, he killed some people inadvertently, and that could have been a good beat, that would have fit this kind of tone. But
nah, they had to show him blow up a whole damn.
And him just stand there with that, that sad look on his face. That stuff. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff
and that's why sometimes people get mad at DC.
Yeah, that I can understand. I think people obviously go off the rails, getting mad, but that's the kind of stuff I can do. I can understand. This stuff with even Man of Steel with Pa Kent, him. Just stay back. The tornado, like, come on, like I didn't like that from the beginning. So
like everybody, I know every person in the theater was like, really, bro,
really.
There's
no way to stay back. I don't care if he told you not to. He saved a busload of kids when you told him not to do it. You think he ain't gonna save you, his father? Like, come on.
On top of that, T, explain to me this: what parent is gonna sit up there and say, "Save the dog and not save me"?
Yeah, not the dog, not the Hollywood 1990s Hollywood trope of saving the dog.
Yeah,
come on. So. Yeah, this turned into something else. Obviously, we were supposed to talk about a Wonder Woman's trailer, but I mean that that is
it leads to a problem.
Part. Yeah, that is
it leads to that problem.
Yeah. So we just worried that
the stupid stuff like this gonna happen.
Exactly.
But like I said, I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful too.
I'm just gonna be hopeful. Like I said, I'm going in there.
They're at least trying. You can see they're at least trying to add levity and things of that nature. So
they're trying to meet us halfway.
Yeah.
And that's all I ask, really. Honestly, that's all I ask. Like, inject some life to me in your movies. Because let's be honest, it's superhero fiction. We all know how this is supposed to end. Happily.
Yes. Right. It's gonna be a happy ending. Like nobody expects it not to be a happy ending. You don't,
It's the ride that we're looking forward to. Right.
Even Logan, to some degree, had happiness in the ending. There was good stuff that happened in the sadness of that ending. There were still good things that happened. The kids got away,
The kids bucked.
Yeah, they bucked, like the little black mutant kid. Like, so, yeah, I mean, that's, levity. There's some levity in there.
Yeah. Even Logan had his moments where it was just like,
oh yeah, Logan definitely had, like, I laugh out loud. I laughed out loud a couple of times in Logan.
Yeah. So I mean, I think every good movie has a good balance of that.
But that that was mainly because of Hugh Jackman. So
yeah, because he's being an old jackass.
Yeah,
we're loving him for it.
Right.
Yeah, we are loving him for it. So
tell me, let's just go back to that real quick, because we didn't touch on it. Like the part where those landowner guys show up. That
was so funny.
They came back. I'm like, you idiots. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm glad you came back because this is not gonna end well for you, but it's gonna end very well for me and my entertainment.
Okay, that part, that was one of the few times in the movie I'm like, just kill him. They killed every last one of them. It was satisfying.
Oh, it was so satisfying.
Because if you have to go that far to do your dirt, you go shut the man's water off, then you threaten to kill him. even though he's in the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you show up, yeah, we're gonna get this son of a bitch for breaking the boss's nose.
Yeah, and again, that was one of those movie things that again, I'm finding stuff that took me out for a minute. That took me out. So it's like he's been dealing with these guys for a while by himself.
Yeah.
And nothing's ever happened before that escalated to where somebody got hurt. Like him. Like, that didn't make sense to me. It was just like, just in time for Logan to show up. Now it's going to escalate.
Yeah, but I'm thinking I'm thinking it was more.
That's a small thing.
Yeah.
It took me out for a couple of seconds. I'm like, wait a minute.
Because it did bother me too. Because I'm like, because the son made a statement about,
like, oh, I'll go out and help you, Dad. These crazy dudes who were obviously willing to kill you over this situation.
Yeah, they've had to fight them before, and I think that's why the guns came out this time we saw them.
Okay, yeah, I guess I can roll with that. Yeah,
that's the only thing.
It was actually escalating up to the point where he grabbed the gun.
Yeah,
because like, well, last time where we got into a brawl, so let me bring this gun. Okay, I can roll with that then. Yeah. I can roll.
I would have been like that if the son didn't say because apparently him and the son that did it before.
Yeah.
So that's why he was ready to go with him, and he was like, "Nah, you're gonna stay here," and then they went. He went with Hugh, and then they left the house unprotected, basically.
Right.
Which was we all know what happened after that.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, and I like at least Elsie Neal.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
She's still fine.
She don't age, man. She don't age.
I'm like, this good God-fearing Christian woman had a 10 gauge though.
She pulled out on him, didn't she?
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, ain't you supposed to be?
And she pulled out on him, and then was like, "You guys get out of here." She was the hero in that scene.
Yeah, man. I'm like, okay, first of all,
her son is down, and like she was up against unsurmountable odds, and she was still like, "Get out of here, guys! I got this."
Yeah, because at that point they had killed Xavier. Was good. He was good and gone.
Yeah,
there was no saving them. And X-Men 3, she tried to fight, but she was in an enclosed space where she couldn't use her speed.
Right.
Basically, and she was outmatched.
Yeah, she was outmatched.
Next thing you know, she go in the hallway. You see Elsie Neal sitting there with that 10 gauge. And she unloading shots.
Yeah, she blasted.
So apparently, this family has had to fight before.
Right, they're not used to they're not new to fighting. Yeah, they've done it.
This has happened before, so that's why it was so funny when the guys came back.
Yeah.
To the house, and then
like, you gonna come to my territory? I have all the advantage here. You gonna come here? Looking for trouble?
Apparently, they came looking for some violence, and they caught the wrong kind of violence.
They got some, boy.
A couple of decapitations and some missing arms later.
So T-1000 didn't look a little different than the guy you. Yeah, like, oh, there he is, right there. Really? He didn't look.
Y'all the dumbest rednecks. I'm sorry, they were red. They were red. Y'all the dumbest rednecks I've ever seen in my life.
No mention of the fact that he looks pretty decently younger, and none of that.
Not talking.
Yeah, exactly. Like nothing, huh? Okay, you deserve to die.
yeah.
For your stupidity. So
I'm like, y'all had this coming, and I just laughed. At that point, I was just laughing. Yep. Like, y'all really had this coming. So, yeah. Goodbye. Y'all won't be in the next one.
Yep, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I can't praise that movie enough. I really can't. I mean, I'm just gonna be sad that I'm not gonna be able to actually see him like where he needs to be, because he should have been in with the. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I know there's people out there who keep saying the X-Men don't need to be at Marvel. Yes, the hell they do. Yeah, and I'm going to say it now. I would have loved to see Hugh Jackman's version of Wolverine teamed up with Captain America and the Avengers. I'm sorry, I said it. So I would have loved to seen him in the Age of Ultron. Oh, like I said, perfect reason for him to go berserk. Ultron robots.
Yes.
Perfect reason. They're not human. You can have him go.
You can slash through 1,000 of them things.
Yeah, you could have had him go crazy. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is how they got away with it in the 90s with that X-Men cartoon. If you ever remember, they just put him up against Sentinels or robots.
Yeah, you put him up against robots all the time.
They let him go berserk a couple times in that series.
They're really good at that. It's like G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe cartoons. Like all these bullets are flying, but nobody gets hit. It's just the machines, and then the guy's parachute.
Because the only real violence they really had was Snake Eyes fought. Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow fought.
Right.
Really, everything else was like they all went to the same school the Stormtroopers went to.
80s cartoons are really good at doing that. Thundercats did that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember being all these fights. Not really. If you go back and watch, it wasn't a lot of like hand-to-hand, like people getting punched even. So
they would happen, but they would only happen like I say once every 5 episodes, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Like He-Man was notorious for it. And if you think I'm lying, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, there you go.
Thundercats was notorious for it. But the only person they really let
Thundercats is on
real fights was Panthro and Thundercats.
Yeah.
And other than that, like it was all like kind of smoke.
Panthro though, the Black Panther. The obviously black.
The obvious black cat. Yeah, we might have to do something about old school cartoons because especially with Netflix like going and getting a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching like since in the mornings. I've been watching either Animaniacs or He-Man.
Well, I watched the Thundercats marathon last weekend, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I did enjoy. I will say this: I did enjoy that Thundercats remake they did in 2011. I'm mad that it never got to go on. I'm hoping like if Young Justice gets renewed at Netflix, Thundercats needs to get renewed at Netflix.
They were too skinny.
They were too skinny, but the story was actually getting good.
I'm just messing around. I was just saying people would say they weren't bulky enough.
Oh God! Oh jeez. But the story was actually getting good and picking up.
Yeah. And Mum-Ra would show up. His punk ass would show up for the last 2 minutes of this episode. I'm Mum-Ra, get beat up, and then he run. You'll never, and okay, whatever. Mum-Ra.
Just like with He-Man, like everybody knows the He-Man. I have the power of Grayskull. Everybody love that Mum-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Mum-Ra, the ever living. That whole
yeah. I would. Mum-Ra was always a cool character in concept, but he didn't really do a lot.
It just didn't.
Yeah.
Skeletor was way more effective.
Yeah, Skeletor was much more effective than Mum-Ra. He's not those idiots. He's not those bumbling idiots
on purpose.
Yeah,
most of the time on purpose. But yeah, I mean, going back and watch, I'm like, yeah, because Mum-Ra had probably the best villain like transformation.
Oh, awesome villain transformation. One of the best like action figures I ever owned was Mum-Ra. So
yeah,
he just had a cool look to him. So
yeah, but he was horrible. Yeah, horribly executed. But like I said, Skeletor was way more effective than Mum-Ra was.
Yeah.
And that's sad because Skeletor was more a mustache twirling villain, and Mum-Ra really wasn't.
No,
Mum-Ra was more I'm gonna kill you, but I'm
kind
not
of a brute force kind of dude.
Yeah. It's just
he didn't
funny.
have a lot of brute force.
It's just funny, like going back and seeing those old cartoons we used to watch. But they're cheesy, but they still work. Like Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah,
easy, but it still work. I can sit and watch a whole episode of Dungeons and Dragons and not feel bad about myself.
Yeah. It's the thing that bothers me as an adult, Thundercats especially, is that okay? So you have this big fortress, the big cat fortress.
Yeah.
You have these guys who basically have been chosen to be Thundercats and protect the universe, but they mostly fight these bumbling idiots every episode. It's just like you got all this power, you've been chosen to do all this stuff, and you basically fight the same 4 villains
over and over
again in different scenarios. That was the 80s cartoon. That's just how it was.
With at the end of every episode, they had the moral of every episode.
You could have the morals. The 80s was all about the morals. This is so funny and cheesy, but it was this.
I think that's why I loved Animaniacs for when they did the whole Wheel of Morality.
Yeah,
because Animaniacs went out of their way to make fun of that.
It was good stuff.
They went out of their way like, this was stupid, and yes, it was 10 years ago. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Fresh Take. I hope you guys out there enjoyed it. Probably gonna be doing something a little bit different on the next Fresh Take. But T, you got anything you want to pimp out?
Nothing in particular. I know I'm gonna put up something between now and tomorrow, so you'll probably see something up. Just hard to pull myself away from Breath of the Wild. You know how that is.
Oh yeah. You know what? That's what's gonna be our next Fresh Take.
Oh sure. Okay, let's do that.
We're gonna talk about Breath of the Wild for our next Fresh Take. And why that should be made into an anime or a TV show. with some thick. Oh no,
yeah. Okay, we'll say
but, actually, I'm probably gonna put some gameplay up of Deadpool. I never got to put up gameplay of Deadpool before, and it recently went on Games with Gold on sale, so I went and picked it up because I never got a chance to finish it. So I'm gonna be putting up some gameplay of that, and I'll probably put up some more gameplay of Breath of the Wild. My niece and my nephew want to see some more of it, so I'm gonna put put together some stuff and add that to the channel next week. So hope you guys
crazy,
enjoy.
Man. The game is so good. Like my 5-year-old daughter just loves watching me play it. Like that's not, I don't have any other games that does that. Like to make her want to watch me play. So
they set the standard, man. But yeah, we're gonna have to get into
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they just set a new standard for me for like open world games. I'm sorry, man. Yep. They just did. So we will be discussing that on our next Fresh Take. We'll just take it to that level. So we will see you guys next time, and thanks for watching. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Later.
Peace.